Laura, I want to say thank you so much, as I was saying off camera, for just being such a great advocate for our fitness mentor network. So I want to kick it off, just go right into this and talk a little bit about why did you want to get involved with this? What was your motivation to kind of see this through?
I just think it's such a wonderful idea. And my history is one of being an educator at heart. So I started even in high school teaching fellow musicians how to play the flute when I'd only been playing the flute for a year or two. And that wasn't hubris. That was, okay, I've learned so much from the people who were helping me. Let's pay it forward. So that's been a constant theme in my life that we're kind of all in this together. And if there's a tidbit that I can share that's useful and that you can tell me something that's useful, I believe that collaboration and cooperation is essential and it makes us all better. It's not a competitive thing. I want everyone to succeed. That doesn't diminish what I do. It just lifts other people up. So when I heard that the three of you were doing this, it was like, I have to be involved with this in some capacity because I just have felt so strongly throughout my entire fitness career that mentorship and coaching were things that were missing. And we have a very high attrition rate, as you have said multiple times, and burnout is a real thing. And it's a hard job. There's plenty of other jobs that are hard jobs, but personal training and being in fitness and wellness are we're constantly looking out for other people, and we need a place that's for us where we can share ideas and we can be supported. And if somebody a little further down the road has something useful to say to us so that we don't fall in the pothole that they just climbed out of, let's do that.
100%. And I think you have a unique perspective because you came from another industry profession, right? And
Yes, I do.
I would love for you to tell that story you told on LinkedIn about your mentor. I thought that was so awesome, and I think people need to hear you talk about that.
Okay. Sure. I'd be happy to share. I've had wonderful mentors throughout my life in various fields. I've actually had three different careers. Prior to music, I did something else, but we'll save that for another conversation. So, when I was growing up, my family wanted my brother and I to take piano lessons. So that was my very first instrument. And then as soon as I got into elementary school, of course, you don't play piano in a band. Well, you can, but that's not a typical thing. So I started taking trumpet because I thought it was easy, had only three valves. How difficult could it be? But I always wanted to play the flute. And I thought the flute was too hard. I mean, you have to understand this is a fourth grader's mindset, right? Wanted to play the flute, but there were way too many keys. Couldn't possibly, envision myself doing that. So I'm playing the trumpet badly through several years of elementary school and junior high school, and not really, being involved too much in it, not practicing, not doing the things I should be doing. Until one day I told my band director, who I adored, very nice man, very accomplished man. And I said to him, "Oh, I've always wanted to play the flute. I don't know how to do this, how to switch." And he said, "Well," he said, "I will let you borrow a flute and I will start teaching you. And if you discover that this is something you want to do, I'll help you with finding other teachers." And that just kind of changed everything for me in terms of, first of all, he listened to what I had to say. So he took me seriously. And so that's really important. Are people hearing you? The things that you're saying, are they paying attention to not just the words, but what's behind the words? And secondly, he not only listened to me, but he took action. He gave me a flute. He let me borrow a flute. I mean, come on, to a ninth grader, that's a huge big deal. And that just set me off on a completely different path. And I'm forever grateful to him. And I'm not the only one he helped like that. There are a number of stories, from the time that he was a teacher at that school of helping people. He loved music and he was a teacher. He loved people. He loved his students, and anybody that showed even the remote basis of interest, he was going to try to help. And I think fitness professionals are the same way. I know there's a lot of competition in our field. I know that sometimes people feel like they have to kind of keep things to themselves. But by and large, the fitness professionals I've encountered have been incredibly giving and generous of their time and their knowledge. And I'm at the point in my career where I'm thinking about legacy, right? I have been in the field for 20 years. I'm an older adult and I'd like to continue to be in the field for as long as I can function properly. But I'm also thinking about all this knowledge and all this experience and all the different things that I've done in my life for fitness. How do I encapsulate that? How do I offer that to clients and to a maybe younger trainers or less experienced trainers in a way that would be beneficial? So anyway, so that's the short version of the music part.
I love that. I just think everyone has someone or group of people that have been there for them. And I think you're right, especially like the legacy part. I resonate with that quite a bit. And I was just on a phone call before this with someone who was interested in this program, our mentorship program. And this person mentioned that they both wanted to be a mentor and a mentee. We've talked about this in meetings, like it's amazing. And he wants to be a lifelong learner, in the business and came from law enforcement and wanted to be in fitness. So I think it's really critical that for our people switching industries, we need to help them have a nice landing into something that's really new for them. So some people like yourself, I think, can be a great service to those people and new people, but coming from one industry to the next, it's similar, but very different too. This is a different industry. It's pretty hard to be in. So it definitely helps to have someone be in your corner. But I wanted to pivot a little bit to you jumped on our pilot program and became a big part of it. And I could speak for Debbie and Aaron. We always say Laura always has very good ideas. She's never afraid to say those ideas. Give me your thoughts about the pilot program, your experience, what you took from it.
Yeah, I was very in favor of how you handled the pilot program. Going back to the music, whenever there was an audition or a recital, some kind of important performance or situation where I had to like show my skills, I always did what we call runouts. So I would always do a mock audition. I'd do a mock, recital. I'd put myself in a situation where I felt under pressure and that I had to perform. Maybe it wasn't exactly the same as when I did the audition or the performance, but I still tried to stress myself out so I could see what would happen. And I could fix some things, hopefully. So I think you are really smart about having a 5-week pilot program with fitness professionals. I was amazed and I just thought it was wonderful, the high quality of people who joined. One of the things that I want in my life is I wanted to connect with like-minded professionals. And you'd think in working in a commercial big box gym the way that I have 16 years of experience in various, commercial gyms, that with 20 or 30 trainers on staff, that there wouldn't be any problem connecting with other trainers. But what you find out real fast is that everybody's super busy and everybody has their tunnel vision and their focus on their clients or their business or whatever is going on in their lives. So there wasn't really a lot of outside talking or communication about business. Maybe every once in a while I got a chance to sit down with my fitness director, but I often have felt that I was working in a silo. So to be part of a program like this was awesome because I got connected with some very high level folks. Everybody in the program I've learned something from, which is a wonderful thing to say. And just to be able to give the opportunity of offering feedback to the three of you who've worked so hard to get this program started, that was just such an honor and such a privilege because I've been in the field for 20 years. I've got really strong opinions about my personal experience as a fitness professional. And the fact that, again, you guys listened and then you took action, or at least I felt you did. And I just think you're modeling what a great mentor, a great coach is in that pilot program. And I know you tweak things. I know you guys were really open to everybody's feedback and you pivoted, you switched, you've tweaked. And I think that's what a pilot program is for.
Yeah, it's we really had no idea how it was going to turn out. We just thought, I remember we had a meeting about it, and I said, I like to reference other industries and things a lot. And I said, well, when before a movie comes out, usually there's a focus group, and there's people, they give their feedback about what they think about the movie. It may change the ending because it wasn't received well, and so on and so forth in other industries. And I said, we need to get as much feedback as possible because we certainly don't know everything. And we want as many voices of people who really feel connected to this. And you've been one of those people clearly from day one, has been really into it. So I wanted to ask too, like, what advice would you give for people who are thinking about this program? Or they're like, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an educator at heart, so let's just unpack this a little bit. So if somebody says, "I'm not sure," I guess I would ask, "What is your hesitation?" So we know in sales and personal training sales that you have to deal with the objections or deal with the fears. So what's the underlying, hesitation? And I won't go through them. Any
Yeah.
trainer that has been in the field for a while understands how to do sales, but you have to start where the person's at. That's a coaching tenant. So if somebody has a hesitation, first thing is, okay, so talk to me about your hesitations. What's going on here? And, what is realistic in your life right now, either money or time or whatever the issue is. Because we want this program to succeed. So people need to support it. And it needs to be supported throughout its existence, whether that's hopefully it's going to exist long past us, but whether that's, a couple of years or that's into the future for quite a while, which I'd like to see, we have to support it now. So I think I'd also ask, okay, so you're hesitant about joining the program. Where are you at in your fitness journey? Are you an emerging fitness professional? Are you somebody that's trying to pivot? Like I pivoted from being in the commercial big box gym space. I then became a fitness director. I worked in a retirement community as a fitness director. I worked in a retirement community as the director of residence life, which is nothing to do with fitness, but because I had the fitness background, that was something that most candidates didn't come in with. So I was, again, an anomaly with and I had my music. So two of the big pillars of retirement community, which is, arts, right? And fitness, I had those covered in professional capacities. So I was a very different type of candidate than a lot of the folks that applied for those positions. And now I own my own business. So I also would ask the person who's hesitant, tell me where you're at in your professional life right now and where would you like to be? Because what coaching will do is help you identify what are the action steps you need to take? What is the information that you need that's missing? What are your systems? Although it's generally not about systems, but it could be. What are the elements that you're missing that somebody else has expertise in that you'll hear about in this course? It's just so valuable.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's interesting. And we're always getting a lot of communication about the program. We're reaching out to colleges, universities, big box gyms, the whole thing. And the reason why I asked that question is because I just think we're not used to something like this. And I think sometimes when you haven't been treated well, it's hard to know how to receive good things and that you're not trying to trick people into something. I think sometimes our industry, we're used to kind of that pitch that always doesn't feel how am I that doesn't feel great, or like you're trying to get over on me type of program. I'm not calling out him, but just saying we've kind of had a history of this generally in our business. So I think overcoming this sense of like, no, this is actually a good thing. I promise you. Like getting people over that hump, I think has been something I know the three of us has really been working pretty hard on. Um, as well. So I thought that would be good just as we're chatting. Like that's some feedback too, I think, is people kind of keep things close to the vest about, I don't know, this is a good idea. I think it's a good idea. But sometimes I think people have the wait and see approach. Like, is this going to be a thing actually? We've experienced that.
I think it
Mm.
I think it was Adam Grant, like the first adopters, like there's categories of people
That's right.
when you're looking at how people, buy products or buy whatever it is that they're buying. And so you've got somebody who wants the shiny new thing
Yeah.
right away. They're like, I think they're called first adopters
Yeah.
or first buyers. And then you've got a whole group of people that are like, okay, they're a little wait and see, like they want the first iteration to be out there and then they'll jump on. And then you've got people that are kind of lagging behind. So I think if I'm going to sum this up, I would say that one of the ways that this program is vastly different than lots of programs that I've been in, and is the focus is on the individual that's taking the program. I've been really wonderfully not surprised, but let's say amazed. I'm really grateful that the three of you are so focused on others. Um, that the people you want to make sure that people in the program have a good experience. You want to make sure that the values that you guys stand for and that you've created the program on this foundation of values for fitness and wellness professionals really comes through in everything you do. So there's a huge amount of integrity, in my opinion, in what you all are doing. And I don't use that word lightly. I have very strong opinions about the fitness industry, as I've mentioned, but I also have very strong values about you got to do what you say and say what you do. There has to be, words and action have to align. So what you're trying to do now is you're trying to create some trust. And I think what I'd like to say to folks, and I'm super picky, I'm very picky about who I get involved with and how I get involved, because, time is limited, right?
That's
And you
right.
want to make sure that you're aligned with the people that you're involved with. And the same thing is true for clients. You want to make sure you're a good fit. That's just part of our business.
Yeah.
And I would say that the value that's happening here for the integrity and for building the trust is just remarkable. You guys have done a wonderful job. And I want people to understand that this is not a fly by night. There's been so much thought. And this is what I found out from being involved in the debriefs, is there's so much thought that goes into what you're doing, and there's conversation and constant discussion and constant evaluation that this is a really high quality product, and people need to know that there's integrity, and they need to trust that it's something that's focused on them, that you guys want people to be successful that are involved in the program.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that one. And I know you've been in there a lot of the meetings. We have debriefs and advisory committee, and Debbie and Aaron could tell you, I mean, we're spending probably 15 hours a week, and all of us have a lot of different jobs that we're doing. And I remember us coming together saying, like, we know this is going to be a lot of work, but anything that's good, especially something that you're trying to build a legacy, is just going to require commitment. And I want other people to feel that commitment from us, but for themselves too, is like, this is literally a love letter that we're writing. But I think when you're used to sometimes being treated a certain way where, what are you trying to sell me? What is this? Is this just another kind of executive coaching program that really, is just a lead generation for something else? Like, no, this is definitely not that. This is a lot of tremendous work and heart and late night conversations and early morning texts and setting up Zooms and reaching out. It's a really, really beautiful process. And I think maybe we have to highlight that more too. People that, this isn't something that was based off of a profit center, or that, well, we're going to, is nothing. And it's funny. Like, I remember one of the meetings, and you guys were asking us about, what are we getting out of this and this and that. And we're like, we're just doing it. They're like, no, you guys should get something for doing this. We're like, we're just doing it. Because I just think there's been other there's been other iterations of this. Let's just say that there's been a lot of people have tried to do this. And I always think, well, why is that not worked? But I think it's just, we haven't rallied the industry together in the way that needs to be done. So right now we're in the rally phase. We're in the big rally phase. We're like throwing a big party. We're like, come to our party, come to the party, So people like you are really important for that, Laura. We always appreciate that.
Thank you.
So I think that, as we move forward here, how do you see this growing? Like, what would you like to see it become over time? I know you've had ideas, Laura, about this.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Do you have the next week and a half? Well, as you know, I have a lot of ideas, and I think the way you're proceeding is absolutely right. You proceed with one or two of the big rocks, the big ideas, and then you add on depending on the success or not of the big rocks. So, we did talk about, you've got the group program, which that's going to appeal to people who want to be part of a larger group and want a lower price point. So that's great. And then you've got the specialty cohorts, of which, full disclosure, I paid my money to be part of Jess Maurer's, first cohort, because I believe very strongly that that's something that could benefit me. And I had a private with Jess as a result of being in the pilot program. It was extremely helpful, and it was targeted to me. So already there was a benefit to me from getting to know her, and I didn't know her prior to the pilot program. So you've got the specialty cohorts, which I think is a fantastic idea, which is a deep dive into one subject for 8 weeks. And those will rotate through, I'm assuming, different subjects. And then you're about to unveil the one-on-one coaching, which I just think for people, I see one-on-one coaching. Obviously, that's going to be a higher price point. I've had a business coach, Jody Kennett. I'm calling her out. She's a former fitness professional in Vancouver, British Columbia. I've worked with her for 6 years, and
Beautiful.
she is a huge reason why I've had any success whatsoever. How my career has morphed through the personal trainer to fitness director to blah, 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 blah. She's been there, for me, and she's really smart and a really good coach. So I needed that, and I was willing to invest the money in that. So I feel very strongly about the one-on-one program. That's something I actually would like to be involved with as a coach. And then there's all kinds of things after that. You can have maybe some audio ideas where people can do an online self-guided course. You clearly could have a book. You're doing tons of presentations, so there can be presentations. You can have ambassadors. I mean, you can go, the whole, I don't want to say 9 yards. We just had the Super Bowl. You can go as far as you want, really,
Yeah.
as long as the interest is there. And obviously, rolling everything out at the same time is not a wise idea. There's only three of you. I mean, you kind of need like an entire company to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that this idea of us supporting each other and becoming the best professionals we can be, and also the care and feeding of personal trainers and wellness professionals and group fitness instructors, this is a hard field, and we give so much to other people that we need to take a look at how we do our own self-care. And I'm not talking about working out in the gym. I'm talking about maybe some, mental health strategies or mental well-being strategies, or how do you deal with a difficult client, or how do you fire a difficult client, or how do you not start working with a difficult client in the first place? And when we say difficult, what I mean is a client that's not a good fit for you, because someone who's difficult for you might not be difficult for me. That doesn't make me a better trainer. That just makes me a different human being. So I think the more that we can come together as an industry and supporting each other through a program like yours and Debbie and Erin's and Idea Fit, I think the better off we'll be, the stronger we'll be as an industry, and hopefully the higher quality and the higher value that we'll provide to our clients.
100%. And I have to say, I do have a bias towards the one-on-one program. Not going to lie. I am so excited for this program to launch. And one, because I think the other two programs are really good. I just like that there's different levels that we're doing, from a more higher level, different SMEs, then to a deeper kind of subject oriented, deeper dive into subject, and into one-on-one guidance. So that levels of mentorship within that. And I just think we're so excited about how elegant the platform we have looks. There's one thing, as an advisory committee member, you haven't seen that yet.
I
Only we've
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it.
Right. And I remember when they showed it to us, we were like, all right, let's, before they showed it, we were like, okay, this is the big reveal. We got to see that we're on track. When they showed it to us, we were shocked. We were like, this is so elegant. This is so beautiful. Shocked in a good way. Like, this was like,
Yeah.
well, it's what we thought it was we wanted it to be. And
Mhm.
so I think anyone who participates in that program is getting a matching service that's going to be really cool and elegant, and is going to be very uh, people oriented. Like, you get you pick who you want. You have all the list of these people, their experience, their background, and it's almost kind of like, it's kind of funny. We looked at it, we're like, this kind of like a dating site almost. Like, it's like swipe for this trainer or this professional to work with. I just really think it's going to be amazing, and just the fact that we're close to that means that we're about to land the plane on three pillars that are really important. And Laura, you had this idea a while ago about the independent study. We've already received requests for that.
Yeah.
So I think we actually may be moving on that much sooner than we thought. For
Right.
So that was a big idea for you, and I thought, we'll see what happens, but I think we have to remove as many barriers as possible for people to want to do
Yeah.
this. I want you to talk about that maybe a little bit. What do you think about that idea?
About removing barriers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, people learn in different ways. So one of the things you figure out early on when you teach kids the way that I was teaching kids, that if I said something that I wanted them to do and it came back in a completely different way, that the issue wasn't with the kid, the issue was with me. And so and not that I was wrong or bad, but I didn't understand the child's mind well enough to be able to speak in language that they would understand or to explain something the way that they would understand. So it made me have to be more creative. It made me have to be more focused on, okay, I got to understand this person's brain. That skill was directly applicable to and transferable to working with adults as a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor. Because I did group fitness early on in my career, as well as personal training, as well as yoga, health coaching. I mean, like many of us, I've had a lot of different roles. So, in terms of removing barriers, I feel very strongly that some people are extroverts, they want to be in a group. Some people are introverts, they want one-on-one. Some people learn through audio because they have a long commute. So, like a podcast, they want to listen to it on their car. They have weird schedules. They can't be available at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. So, they need to have something online. So, I think the more products that you have that kind of target the way that people live, and people live different lives, I think the better off you are, because it's going to, the information will be kind of slanted to the medium that you're presenting it in, but it's going to be the same information. I mean, people are people. So however people learn, hopefully they find a niche of this that works for them, where they feel supported, they feel heard, they can take action to help them move forward however they want to move forward with their career.
Yeah, I think you're right too. And I've been really thinking about this lately, Laura. Like, in our programs, we have certain days that we have, the synchronous approach, whether it's a Tuesday or a Thursday, and show up for this meeting. And, in our profession, that's not always possible with, someone working quite a bit to build their clientele or teaching classes. And honestly, some people just want the recording. They just want to be able to listen to it on their own time, and have that
Yep.
option. And like you mentioned, maybe they're traveling somewhere and I just want to listen to it while I'm in the car or watch it while I have some time, whatever. I think we're mulling that over quite a bit. And you're going to hear about it because you're on the committees, and we're going to be kicking these things to you guys as well as part of our approach. Always when we have meetings and we get this new thing brought up, I'm the one to always say, just kick it to the committee. Just kick it to them. Let them give us input, then we can start. That's what we've been doing. Let's just kick it to
Mhm.
them and let's build something, a consensus from that. So we're really grateful that you've had all these great ideas for us.
Thank you. Thank you for being willing to receive the ideas.
Yeah. And I think, and hopefully you've seen that in our meetings, and you've attested to it. The three of us, we don't have an ego about this. We want your opinion. We implement a lot of the things you guys say, and we have some restrictions based off our partnership, what can and can't be done. But I think it's important for people to know that we just don't say, "Hey, this is what's happening." We go, "What do you guys think?" Like, and you have a voice, and we want people to have a voice. It's really important.
Well, I think that value, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying about the huge amount of integrity that you guys are showing in developing this program, as well as, you're trying to build trust, because I've gone through the pilot program. So I've gotten to know the three of you.
Right.
I've been on the debriefs after the pilot, after the sessions. I'm now on the, advisory committee.
Mm.
So I've deepened my relationship with the three of you, and I can see how important the program is, and how open you are to feedback, and how very little ego. I mean, there has to be some, we have some
Yeah,
ego,
of
but
course.
very
Right.
little ego. It's very focused on how can we help this. We have a need in our industry. You're trying to fulfill a need. How can we help? What's the best way to fulfill the need? What do you think? What are your opinions? And I think that people who don't know you need to know that now I've been involved with this organization for what? And also, Darian, you gave me a client. I won't mention the person's name, but you did hook me up with somebody, to help mentor a person in a transition from one field to another field. And we did work together for a couple of months. And she ended up, adding a certificate that was right for her, that kept her in her old field, but also allowed her to do some of the physical things that she wanted to do. She was very clever. We talked through I didn't mention that to her. It was as a result, I think, of her exploration of what's out there and support that, yep, go see what's out there, what's going to work for you. So I just think that people who are considering this program who might be on the fence need to know that this is pretty special program with pretty special people.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Laura. And
Yeah.
your continued support and guidance to help us is really appreciated. So I'm very grateful for you and all of the committee members and the pilot members. And just we need your help, continued help. So we will continue to lean on your ideas, and everyone else has been involved. So, and this, thank you for being on this to help us get the word out.
My pleasure.